When someone disrespects you, the immediate reaction is to fight back, to defend yourself, to prove your worth. It feels like silence means weakness, like you're letting them win. But in reality, silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give. It is a choice, not a sign of defeat. When you refuse to engage, you are showing that their words or actions do not have control over you. You are proving that their disrespect is beneath you. People who intentionally disrespect others do so to get a reaction, to pull you into their negativity. When you don't respond, you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you affected. Your silence speaks volumes, sending the message that their words hold no weight in your life. That alone makes you more powerful than any argument ever could. Staying quiet does not mean you are ignoring the situation or pretending it didn't happen. It means you are choosing not to waste your energy where it won't be valued. You understand that not every battle is worth fighting. Some people thrive on conflict, and engaging with them only fuels their behavior. Instead of giving them what they want, you step back and observe. You let them show their true colors while you remain composed. When you refuse to react, you place the burden back on them. They are left wondering why their usual tactics didn't work on you. And that moment of uncertainty is often more powerful than any response you could have given. Disrespect is often a reflection of the other person's insecurity, not a measure of your worth. People project their own fears, doubts, and frustrations onto others. They belittle, criticize, or dismiss you because it makes them feel bigger. But when you stay silent, you refuse to be a part of their game. You don't give them permission to transfer their negativity onto you. You recognize that their behavior is about them, not you. And once you understand that, you stop taking their words personally. You stop internalizing their disrespect because you know it is not a reflection of who you are. It is simply noise that does not deserve your attention. There is power in walking away from a situation with your dignity intact. Engaging in an argument or a back and forth exchange only drags you down to their level. When you remain silent, you rise above it. You show that you are in control of yourself, that you are not easily provoked. This level of restraint is not easy, but it is worth it. It protects your energy, your peace, and your self-respect. It teaches you that not everything requires a response. Some situations are best handled with distance. Some people do not deserve access to you, your thoughts, or your emotions. And the more you practice this, the more powerful you become. The world often confuses silence with weakness, but in reality, it is a sign of strength. Weakness is reacting impulsively, letting emotions take over and giving away your power. Strength is having the ability to control your response, to choose when and how you engage. When you stay quiet, you force others to sit with their own actions. You give them space to realize that their disrespect did not break you, that their words did not shake, and in that silence, they are left with only themselves. That is far more impactful than anything you could have said in the heat of the moment. Staying quiet does not mean you let people walk all over you. It means you pick your battles wisely. You decide what is worth your time and what is not. There is a difference between standing up for yourself and wasting energy on people who will never change. When you stay silent, you are making a conscious choice to focus on what truly matters. You are refusing to let someone else's negativity pull you down. You are choosing peace over chaos, growth over conflict, and wisdom over impulse. And that choice is what separates those who react from those who rise above. Silence also forces you to reflect rather than react. It allows you to process your emotions before taking action. When you don't respond immediately, you gain clarity on what really deserves your attention. You stop reacting based on temporary emotions and start making decisions from a place of wisdom. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to people who will never see your value. You no longer let disrespect control your mood, your thoughts, or your actions. And in that space of silence, you find something even more powerful. inner peace. People who consistently disrespect others often rely on manipulation and control. They expect you to react, to defend yourself, to engage in their drama. But when you stay silent, you take away their ability to control the situation. You leave them confused, frustrated, and powerless. They are forced to face themselves without the distraction of an argument. And over time, that silence speaks louder than any words ever could. It shows them that you are not someone they can easily provoke or manipulate. It teaches them that their actions have no impact on your self-worth. The more you practice staying quiet in the face of disrespect, the stronger you become. You start to see how much energy you used to waste on things that did not matter. You begin to focus on your own growth, your own goals, your own happiness. You stop letting other people dictate your emotions, your reactions, or your sense of self. And in doing so, you reclaim your power. You prove to yourself that you do not need to respond to be heard, because silence, when used wisely, is one of the loudest statements you can ever make. When someone disrespects you, the first instinct is to retaliate, to make them feel the way they made you feel. It's natural to want justice, to demand an apology, or to prove a point. But the truth is, revenge is never as satisfying as it seems. It may give you a brief moment of satisfaction, but in the long run, it only ties you to the negativity. Fighting back keeps you engaged in the situation, making you relive the hurt over and over again. It drains your energy, steals your peace, and makes you reactive instead of intentional. The best thing you can do is let karma handle it. Life has a way of balancing things out, and people always face the consequences of their actions. You don't have to do anything because their own behavior will eventually catch up to them. What goes around always comes back around, and nothing speaks louder than that. Choosing not to seek revenge is not about letting people get away with their actions. It's about understanding that life will always handle what you don't. The energy someone puts out into the world always finds its way back to them. People who lie, manipulate, and disrespect others will eventually find themselves in situations where they are on the receiving end of the same treatment. It might not happen immediately, and it might not happen in a way you expect, but it will happen. You don't need to be the one to make them realize their mistakes, because life will do it for you. Instead of wasting time plotting a response, you can step back, focus on yourself, and trust that everything will unfold as it should. Their actions will create their own downfall, and you won't have to lift a finger. The desire for revenge is often fueled by the idea that you need to make things right. It feels unfair to let someone disrespect you and walk away as if nothing happened. But what if walking away is actually the smartest thing you can do? When you refuse to engage, you send a powerful message that their actions do not control you. You prove that their words or behavior have no lasting impact on your life. That alone is more powerful than any form of revenge. While they continue to operate from a place of negativity, you choose growth, peace, and self-respect. You take back control by refusing to let them dictate your emotions. And in doing so, you win in a way that retaliation never could. There is a reason why people say you reap what you sow. Everything we do has a consequence whether we realize it or not. People who consistently disrespect others eventually find themselves surrounded by the same negativity they created. They lose genuine relationships, damage their reputations, and struggle to find lasting happiness. Even if it seems like they are getting away with it in the moment, life always catches up. The best thing you can do is remove yourself from the situation and allow karma to take its course. You don't need to watch, interfere, or wait for it to happen. Just trust that it will. Focus on your own journey and let them deal with the consequences of their actions when the time comes. One of the most important lessons in life is learning that not everything requires your reaction. Some battles are not worth fighting. especially when they involve people who thrive on chaos. When you refuse to engage, you take away their power. They expect you to argue, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong, but when you remain silent and walk away, they are left with nothing. They are forced to sit with their own behavior without the distraction of your response. Over time, they begin to realize that their actions only hurt themselves. The negativity they try to spread eventually comes back to them, and they have no one to blame but themselves. Letting karma do its job doesn't mean you pretend like nothing happened. It means you prioritize your own peace over temporary satisfaction. Seeking revenge might feel good in the moment, but it keeps you connected to the person who hurt you. It forces you to continue thinking about them, reliving the situation, and holding on to negative energy. When you choose to let go, you set yourself free. You stop giving them space in your mind and your heart. You make room for better things, for healing, for growth. And in the long run, that is far more valuable than any revenge could ever be. Trusting in karma means believing that justice doesn't always happen on your timeline, but it does happen. Sometimes people don't immediately face the consequences of their actions, and that can be frustrating. You may never see their downfall, and that's okay. The goal is not to watch them suffer. The goal is to remove yourself from their negativity. Life has a way of teaching people lessons when they least expect it. Whether it's through lost opportunities, failed relationships, or personal struggles, everyone eventually faces the results of their behavior. And by the time they do, you will have moved so far forward that you won't even care. Instead of seeking revenge, put that energy into yourself. The best way to respond to disrespect is to become so successful, so happy, and so at peace that their actions no longer matter. Use that experience as fuel to build something better for yourself. Focus on your own goals, your own happiness, and your own growth. Nothing makes people regret their actions more than seeing you thrive without them. When you are too busy improving your own life, you have no time to worry about how karma will handle theirs, and that is the ultimate form of winning. Letting karma speak doesn't mean you are weak, it means you are wise. It takes strength to walk away, to trust in a bigger plan, and to choose peace over conflict. It means you understand that your time and energy are too valuable to waste on people who don't deserve it. Instead of lowering yourself to their level, you rise above it. You move forward with confidence, knowing that life will handle what needs to be handled. You focus on becoming the best version of yourself while they deal with the weight of their own actions. That is how you take back your power. Every action has a consequence, and no one is exempt from that. People who spread negativity will always find themselves surrounded by it in the end. You don't need to intervene. You don't need to prove a point. And you don't need to seek revenge. Just step back, let go, and trust that everything will unfold exactly as it should. Karma has a way of speaking louder than anything you could ever say. And when the time comes, those who disrespected you will realize that they were never in control. Life was. Every time you react to disrespect, you give that person access to your energy. You let them dictate your emotions, control your thoughts, and steal your peace. It might feel like standing up for yourself in the moment, but engaging in negativity only drains you in the long run. Not every insult needs a response, and not every battle is worth fighting. The more you waste time trying to prove your worth to people who will never value you, the more you delay your own growth. When you stay quiet, you make it clear that their words have no impact on you. You shift the focus away from them and back onto yourself where it belongs. The most powerful thing you can do is refuse to participate in their negativity. That silence is not weakness. It's a declaration that your energy is too valuable for drama. Choosing not to respond is a decision to protect your peace. People who thrive on disrespect and conflict rely on your reaction to fuel their behavior. When you give them the satisfaction of arguing, explaining, or defending yourself, you reinforce their belief that they have power over you. They push your buttons because they know they can. The moment you stop reacting, you take that power away. You force them to sit with their own actions without the distraction of your response. That silence becomes louder than any words you could say. It leaves them confused, frustrated, and powerless because their usual tactics no longer work. They start to realize that you are not someone who can be easily manipulated. That lesson will stick with them far longer than any argument ever could. Your silence forces them to reflect, whether they admit it or not. Holding on to anger only keeps you tied to the person who disrespected you. It keeps their negativity alive in your mind, making you relive the experience over and over again. Instead of moving forward, you get stuck in a loop of resentment and frustration. The truth is, they are not losing sleep over what they did, but you are. The more time you spend thinking about their actions, the more power you give them over your life. Letting go is not about excusing their behavior, it's about freeing yourself from the weight of it. When you decide to stay quiet and move on, you take back control. You stop allowing their actions to dictate your happiness. You reclaim your energy and redirect it toward things that actually matter. That is the real victory. Disrespect is often a reflection of someone else's insecurity, not your worth. People project their own fears, doubts, and frustrations onto others because it makes them feel better about themselves. The person who belittles you, dismisses you, or tries to make you feel small is often battling their own internal struggles. That doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does explain why engaging with them is a waste of time. You will never convince someone to respect you if they don't even respect themselves. You don't need their validation, and you don't need to prove anything to them. The best response is to remove yourself from the situation entirely. You are not responsible for fixing their insecurities, and you are not obligated to endure their negativity. You are allowed to walk away. Your energy is one of your greatest assets, and how you choose to use it determines the quality of your life. Every moment you spend arguing with someone who disrespects you is a moment taken away from something meaningful. Every time you engage in negativity, you lose focus on your own goals and growth. The most successful people understand that protecting their energy is a priority, not an option. They don't waste time on petty arguments or people who bring nothing but chaos. They know that silence is not just about avoiding conflict. It's about making space for better things. You cannot build a fulfilling life if you are constantly distracted by negativity. Choosing peace over drama is a form of self-respect. Walking away from disrespect does not mean you are weak or passive. It means you have the wisdom to know what deserves your attention and what does not. It takes incredible strength to hold back when every part of you wants to react. The ability to stay quiet in moments of anger is a skill that will serve you in every area of life. It allows you to make better decisions, maintain control over your emotions, and protect your reputation. There is nothing more powerful than someone who knows their worth and refuses to lower themselves to someone else's level. Silence does not mean surrender. It means strategy. It means choosing your battles wisely and refusing to let negativity pull you down. Some people will try to provoke you just to get a reaction. They will test your patience, push your boundaries, and attempt to break your composure. The moment you respond, they win. They thrive on drama, and your reaction only feeds their ego. But when you stay quiet, you leave them with nothing to hold on to. You strip them of their ability to control the situation. Over time, they will get tired of trying because they realize their efforts are wasted on you. That is when you truly take back your power. People only continue to disrespect those who allow it. When you refuse to engage, you set a new standard for how you will be treated. Your silence forces people to face the consequences of their actions without your interference. It makes them confront the reality of their behavior without the distraction of an argument. Many times people do not realize the impact of their words until they no longer have access to you. When they see that their disrespect has cost them your attention, your energy, or even your presence, they are forced to reevaluate. Some will change and others will not. but that is no longer your concern. You've already moved on to bigger and better things. Staying quiet is not about expecting them to learn a lesson. It's about giving yourself the freedom to focus on your own path. You do not need to fix them. You only need to protect yourself. The more you practice staying silent in the face of disrespect, the easier it becomes. You start to realize how much time you used to waste on pointless conflicts. You become more selective with your energy, more focused on your goals, and more in control of your emotions. You start to see that people's actions have nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Their negativity does not belong to you, and you are no longer obligated to carry it. You shift from reacting to observing, from engaging to detaching. That shift changes everything. It allows you to walk through life with a sense of calm and confidence that cannot be shaken. That is the ultimate power. Choosing silence in response to disrespect is not about being passive. It's about being intentional. It's about deciding that your energy is too valuable to waste on meaningless battles. It's about refusing to let someone else's negativity dictate your emotions or disrupt your peace. The more you stay quiet, the more you realize that their words have no real power over you. You stop seeking validation from those who will never give it. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop giving away your energy to situations that do not serve you. And in that silence, you find something far more valuable than revenge. You find freedom. There is nothing more powerful than knowing when to stay quiet and let life handle things for you. When someone disrespects you, the urge to react is strong. You want to defend yourself, prove them wrong, and make sure they understand their mistake. But reacting often does more harm than good. It pulls you into unnecessary conflict, drains your energy, and keeps you emotionally tied to someone who doesn't deserve your attention. The strongest people are not the ones who fight every battle, but the ones who know which ones are worth their time. Not everything requires your response, and not everyone deserves your energy. Silence is not about allowing disrespect. It's about understanding that not all fights are worth engaging in. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. The real power comes from walking away with your dignity intact. When you stay quiet, you take back control of the situation. You remove yourself from their negativity and refuse to let their actions dictate your emotions. People who go out of their way to be disrespectful are often looking for a reaction. They feed off the energy of others, and they want to know they got under your skin. The moment you react, they win. They know they've triggered you, and that only fuels their behavior. But when you stay silent, you confuse them. You take away their ability to control the situation. They are left wondering why their usual tactics didn't work on you. That moment of uncertainty is often more powerful than any words you could have said. Silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of wisdom. It takes far more strength to stay quiet in the face of disrespect than it does to lash out. Anyone can argue, defend themselves, or engage in drama, but it takes real self-control to hold your peace and refuse to lower yourself to someone else's level. Walking away is not about letting them get away with it. It's about prioritizing yourself, your time, and your mental well-being. You are not responsible for teaching people how to treat others. Life will do that for you, and when you remove yourself from toxic situations, you create space for better things to come into your life. Letting karma do its work does not mean you ignore what happened. It means you recognize that life has a way of balancing things out. Every action has a consequence, whether we see it immediately or not. People who consistently disrespect others will eventually find themselves surrounded by the same negativity they created. It might not happen today, and it might not happen in front of you, but it will happen. The universe has a way of making people face their own actions And when the time comes, they will realize that their behavior only hurt themselves in the end. Your silence allows life to handle what you don't need to. Revenge might seem tempting, but it never truly satisfies. It keeps you tied to the person who hurt you, making you relive the situation over and over again. Instead of moving forward, you stay stuck in the same energy as the person who disrespected you. The longer you hold on to anger, the more power you give them over your life. But when you let go, you free yourself, you reclaim your energy, your happiness, and your sense of peace. You shift your focus from them to yourself, from negativity to growth, and in doing so, you rise above the situation completely. That is something they will never be able to take from you. People who are used to getting away with disrespect often underestimate the power of silence. They expect a reaction. They expect you to fight back, to explain yourself, to try and prove your worth. But when you don't engage, they have nothing to hold on to. They are forced to sit with their own actions without the distraction of an argument. Over time, they will either learn their lesson or continue to face the consequences of their choices. Either way, it is no longer your concern. You have moved on. You have chosen yourself. And that is the greatest victory of all. Letting karma speak for you is a form of self-respect. It means you trust that life will handle things in the way they need to be handled. It means you understand that you don't need to waste your energy on people who are not worth it. You don't need to force an apology, demand fairness, or seek revenge. The people who truly matter will respect you without you having to fight for it, and the ones who don't, they will eventually face the consequences of their actions. You don't have to be the one to make them realize their mistakes. Life will do that for you. All you have to do is focus on yourself and move forward. When you stay quiet, you also give yourself time to process your emotions before reacting. Instead of making impulsive decisions out of anger or frustration, you allow yourself to think clearly. You take control of your response instead of letting your emotions control you. This is a skill that will serve you in every area of life, whether it's in your relationships, your career, or your personal growth. Knowing when to stay silent is a form of power. It allows you to navigate difficult situations with grace and strength, and most importantly, it keeps you from wasting energy on things that do not serve you. Choosing silence does not mean you ignore your feelings. It means you process them in a way that benefits you, not the person who disrespected you. It means you channel your energy into something that actually helps you grow. Instead of arguing with someone who will never change, you focus on becoming better. Instead of seeking revenge, you invest in yourself. The most powerful response to disrespect is success. It's showing that their actions did not break you, that their words did not define you. It's proving to yourself that you are stronger than the negativity they tried to bring into your life. There is nothing more satisfying than looking back and realizing that you did not let disrespect pull you down, that you did not allow someone else's negativity to dictate your happiness, that you chose peace, wisdom, and strength over meaningless conflict. Life always has a way of handling people who mistreat others. You don't need to interfere, you don't need to seek revenge, and you don't need to lower yourself to their level. You just need to trust that everything will unfold exactly as it should. The best thing you can do is stay quiet, focus on yourself, and let karma speak.